Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is John DeAngelis from Long Island Family and Elder Care. We're a nonprofit charitable organization here on Long Island, located in Belmore. We have satellite offices in Plainview, Northport, Long Beach, and Kew Gardens, Queens. The focus of our organization is to help the elderly, the disabled, and handicapped persons who want to remain living at home, but do not have the resources to do so. We help them qualify for something called Community Medicaid. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to go briefly through one of the things that gets very confusing for some people, what the difference is between Medicare and Medicaid. Obviously, they sound very similar, but they both have very different reasoning. For Medicare, it's for seniors over 65 and who qualify for Social Security. And this is somebody that maybe Diana would want to talk to because she can help with that type of healthcare insurance. Participants pay a premium for health insurance. They participate with paying their co-payments on most services. And this is the key. Medicare provides short-term home health care benefits that usually cover only a few weeks after a hospital visit or a rehab discharge. So basically, if somebody gets discharged from a rehab or hospital, they go home, they still need help. Medicare is going to be there for a few weeks checking in, and then after that, sayonara, and you're on your own if you still need help. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so Medicaid is for long-term health care. For seniors, there are two types. One is Community Medicaid, which is long-term home health care, where if the person has the ability to stay at home, but they just need some assistance with the assistance of daily living activities, that's a program that that works for them. There's also Medicaid that everybody knows about. It's called institutional Medicaid or nursing home Medicaid. That's a totally different component. There's a 5-year look back. Everybody kind of knows that terminology for Community Medicaid. Next slide, please. Okay, so home health care is a service that is available for people that, again, need assistance with activities of daily living and who want to remain at home. So how do people pay for home health care? There's basically 3 ways of doing it. It's out-of-pocket expense or private pay, long-term care insurance, which our experience shows that not too many people have that because it was at one time a very expensive type of insurance to purchase, and also Community Medicaid programs, something that we help families get provided. Next slide. So just to give a little idea on what the expense is on a self-pay or out-of-pocket expense, the average home care agency or private duty aid now gets around $25 an hour. And in most cases, a home health agency or a private duty home health aide will not work anything less than 4 hours a day. So if you take the expense of $25 an hour at 4 hours a day, you can see, how it's calculated out. It's roughly $700 per week and $2,800 a month, or $36,400 a year. And of course, that does not include any holiday pay rates. So as you can see, it can get very expensive, even for people that have, some net worth, high net worth or whatever. Their resources dwindle pretty quickly over time. And just remember what I said, it's just would be for 4 hours, 7 days a week, which is really not that much care. People that have some dementia, people that have fall risks, they certainly require a lot more hours than somebody just needs a little assistance, around the home. Next slide, please. Okay, so what is Community Medicaid? Okay, the Community Medicaid is a program which allows for the payment of home health aid who helps an elderly person or disabled person fulfill their basic care needs on a daily basis. So those activities of daily living might be bathing, um, light cleaning, some cooking. But basically, they're really there for safety assistance if they have a problem getting in and out of bed, some social activities. So basically, sort of like their right-hand person when they're unable to fully function in those areas. Also, for people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, they're a flight risk. So again, it's a safety issue, and so they do quite well with a home health aide at home. So how do we get Community Medicaid? There's two things that we need to do. We need to get an individual financially and medically eligible. And again, something I just like to stress, because there is some confusion when we hear the word Medicaid. Community Medicaid, we deal with people that have significant high net worth and people that have nothing. So everybody pretty much gets to qualify for this program. So I just can't emphasize that much, because we get several people that right away say, oh, we can't qualify because we have a house. So, oh, we can't qualify because, we have $1 million in the bank. Those people qualify. The program is designed that way because it's a lot cheaper for Medicaid to pay for people to be at home than going into a nursing home. Next slide, please. So if we just take, there are some other financial qualifiers, but I just wanted to give, the very basic idea. So for Community Medicaid, the monthly allowable income for a single person is $875. For a couple is $1,284. Next slide. So I just wanted to give an idea on, what happens when somebody's over the limit of $875. There's something called an excess income or pooled income trust. And what that does is it allows to protect whatever money is over the $875 amount without a spend down of that excess income each month. And it allows the person to keep that income and use it for their monthly expenses. A pool trust is typically is a special needs trust, and it's established by a not-for-profit or charitable organization. We are a charitable nonprofit organization, but we do not have our own pool trust. It's very, very difficult for anyone to really get, start a pool trust, and that would be a whole other conversation. So the elderly and disabled participants contribute their excess income to the pool trust to be managed along with other participants. It's a fund. Next slide, please. Okay, the pooled income trust, the money in the participant's trust account, again, can be used for any living expenses, including mortgage, rent, food, utilities, etc. And the disbursements from the trust must be paid directly to the provider of the services. And the one, downside to this is that any money that's left in that trust and the person passes, the money remains in the trust. It can't be deeded out to somebody else in the family or whatever. It's kept in the fund, and the nonprofit gets to keep it. So next slide, please. So I just to give a little explanation on the pooled income trust example. So Mr. Smith is widowed, so we don't have to we don't have to look at the spouse's income or get a spousal refusal. He's applying for Community Medicaid. His monthly income is $28.75. I made these numbers, pretty easy. The Community Medicaid monthly income allowance is $875. So for Mr. Smith to qualify for Community Medicaid, we need to be under that $875 number, plus the fact that he is looking at a $2,000 a month spend down, which basically Medicaid would take that money and use it until the amount of his services would be over $2,000, and then Medicaid, would kick in. So anyway, by enrolling in the pool trust, Mr. Smith will eliminate that spend down every month and will have access to his $2,000 each month via the pool trust to pay his bills. So one other thing I just wanted to mention about the pool income trust is that the trust has to pay the bills directly from the trust. For example, if there's a bill that needs to pay for rent or for any of his monthly expenses. And what we usually recommend is that people use a credit card for all of their expenses that they can do, so that there's basically one bill at the end of the month that the pool trust company will get, and then they'll disperse the money directly to the credit card company. Next slide, please. So I just want to talk a little bit now about some of the changes that will be happening October 1st regarding Community Medicaid. Currently, with Community Medicaid, there's only a 30-day look back of finances and assets for an individual. So individuals can divest themselves of all assets and be eligible the first day of the following month for Community Medicaid benefits. They can do this by transferring assets to individuals or to a trust. So basically, in a sense, there's really no look back, because we could take care of all this prior to the first day of the month, and they would qualify. We would be able to protect assets if we had to, set up trusts, set up a pool trust, and basically that would be it. Next slide, please. So with what's going to be happening beginning October 1st is there's a new law on Community Medicaid, and there's going to be a 30-month look back, which basically we're going from a 30-day to a 2.5-year look back. The good news is that the look back period will be phased in beginning October 1st. So what does this mean? This means that the look back will increase 1 month at a time until the full 30 months has passed. The full look back will be in place on April 1, 2023. So basically, if when in April 1, 2023, if there was no assets protected within a 2.5-year period, now they're going to be a lot harder to protect than actually the 30-day. So that's going to create some issues on asset protection and those kind of things. So transfers made prior to October 1, 2020 will not be subject to the new look back. So there is a sense of urgency for anyone who is considering getting a home health aid but can't afford it, already has one in the home, and they're paying out of pocket. This is the time you want to apply for Community Medicaid, because if you do it prior to October 1, we're going to be able to protect most of the assets, and after that date, it'll be rolled in. It'll be a lot more difficult. Next slide, please. These new provisions apply to the following programs: the personal care services, adult day health care program as part of Medicaid. Medicaid will pay for people who are on Community Medicaid if they want to go to an adult day program. Assisted living program, or ALP. Believe it or not, Medicaid will pay There are certain assisted living facilities that do have what they call ALP beds for people that are on Medicaid, and they can go to an assisted living program, and that's something that we assist clients on who want to go into an assisted living program who are on Community Medicaid. This affects certified home health agencies that work with people in the home, and also the Consumer Direct Personal Assistance Program. Basically, that program is if you decide that you want a family member or a friend or a relative to take care of you, they can do so and get paid for it through Medicaid, with the exception of a spouse. Next slide, please. So what would be the next steps if you identified someone or you referred someone to me or to our organization? I just wanted to go over what we do and how that scenario would look. So basically, you would contact me or one of my partners, and we would speak with, we also have some other medical consultants that now are working with us. We have consultants that can speak fluent Spanish as well as Russian. And, our initial contact would be a phone call, and we would just tell you a little bit about our organization, what we do. And then when we get into some of the questions you might have, and then the specific needs of the person who's looking for care. None of this time, there's no time limit, and it's free for this call. There are some other organizations out there and attorneys that charge, a consultation for this type of call. And traditionally, we're on for at least an hour, and sometimes it can go even 2 hours, trying to answer people's questions and just getting them familiar about what we do and the process. There is a lot of confusion, again, with Medicare, Medicaid, and people confusing Community Medicaid with institutional Medicaid. So there's a lot of unraveling there that we need to do to make sure that there's full transparency and people fully understand what we can do and how we can help their loved one. So the next step would be if they're interested in the next step, and again, there's no commitment, we would send a client confidential questionnaire, and this gives us more of information that we need, some of their medical needs, as well as their financial information. And this will help us determine their eligibility, and we will be able to devise a customized plan to qualify. This will also help us determine what our fee schedule is. We work on a sliding scale based on need, as well as how much work is going to need to be done in terms of getting the financial portion of their qualification completed. So we're roughly about a third less expensive than most organizations and attorneys that do this type of work. We're a do-good organization, and we never turn anyone away because of their ability to pay. So after that, confidential questionnaire would go out, the family would fill it out, and then they would get it back to us, and then we would review it, and then we would schedule a no-cost, no-obligation follow-up meeting with the family, either on a video conference call or a in-person. We started to do in-persons again, meetings to review the customized plan and basically educate and answer any questions. At no time during the process do we try to give a sales pitch or approach or, come on, sign up with us. Our approach is very consultative and educating. We want to educate people about the process, and if you want to work with us, that's great. If you don't, God bless you, and if we can help you with anything else, give us a call. I have to say we have a very good track record. Most people do sign on with us after meeting and after these steps. So if you should decide to move forward with us, we would then begin the application process and then provide you with a list of all the documentation that we need to satisfy for DSS to process the Medicaid application. Next slide, please. Upon receiving approval for Medicaid, we don't stop there. Most people, stop at that point. You're approved, great. But there are so many other steps that go on with this. And one of the things we try to do is make this process as least stressful for families because there is quite a bit of paperwork, et cetera. And I think the attorneys out there can appreciate, when we start talking about paperwork and getting things in to be lawful. So we will assist after the approval. There needs to be 2 nursing assessments. One is done by the state and one is done by the managed long-term care company. The nursing assessment by the state will be a nurse who's certified to do this kind of work and will meet with families and actually certify that the person actually does medically qualify, that they do need the services. And the managed long-term care company will come in after the first assessment is done, and then they will make an assessment and determine the number of hours that will be paid for the home care. So we have nothing to do with the number of hours that Medicaid will approve for home care. That's done through the assessment process. At that point, when everything is pretty much complete, we will recommend a highly rated home care company that we have vetted. And at the same time, the client can choose any home care company that they want. We don't get any residual income, whatsoever with any of the people that we refer at home care companies. But because there's such a range of people doing a great job and people not doing such a good job, people not showing up, we want to make sure that people get consistent care and don't have an issue with the home care companies. We will also coordinate between the managed long-term care company and also the home health agency that will be providing the care. Medicaid does not pay direct to licensed home health agencies. There has to be a middle person, a managed long-term care company like AgeWell, Aetna, some of the companies you might have heard. And they actually are the ones that receive the money from Medicaid, and Medicaid then pays the home health company for the services being taken care of. And then at that point, the person can begin to use their Medicaid approved services. Next slide, please. These are just a laundry list of things that we do outside of just community Medicaid applications. We do help the families with asset protection through that process. Every year there has to be a Medicaid renewal that has to be done. Basically, just if there's any financials that have changed, if somebody hit the lottery and now they have millions, Medicaid wants to know about it. And there's the Consumer Direct Personal Assistance Program I talked briefly about, and basically that's a program that you can actually have anyone outside of a spouse who could come in and get paid by Medicaid to take care of that person based on the number of hours that we have. And the pooled income trust I went through. We also do home health agency referrals, and we do senior assisted living placement. If somebody wants to go to a assisted living, whether they want to go as a private person trying to find a place, we will help them look for a place that's going to be, a place they're going to be happy living at, as well as people who have community Medicaid and want to go into an assisted living facility. We help them find a senior assisted living place that will that accept Medicaid. Our organization also does home and resident cleanouts and staging. So if someone does decide that they can no longer stay at home, and they need to go into a nursing home or assisted living facility, and they need their house to be cleaned out after it's sold. Um, we provide that service at a very nominal fee. And for some people who have already cleaned out their homes and um, feel that there's a better opportunity for them to sell their homes, Linda could probably speak better to this than I can. We also will stage a home with furniture and so on to make it have that nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, so people um, get to sell their house a lot quicker, although it sounds like that's not much of an issue these days in this market. And we do have a store, a thrift store called the Long Island Trading Post, located in the Al Belmore facility, 2034 New Bridge Road. It's also a donation center, and I want to thank the people in this organization who have, donated things. I know Tom Knowles. I know, I can't think of all the people that have sent things over to us. But if you have anything, particularly if it's furniture, we ask that you just send pictures first, so we know we have room to be able to warehouse it. That's one of our issues, and that's about it. So if anyone has any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer.